Making sure, here we go, we're live, Justin.
Are we?
Yeah.
Bloody good.
So, mate, I'm just thinking about, when we first met, and it's been a long time, eh? We used to go fishing together a few times.
Yeah.
I remember the Match Fishing League, I think.
Yes,
we were in
there
the
was.
same,
We were in the
same
same team.
Wasn't that fun, mate?
No, that was a bit of a hoot, actually.
Yeah, remember, and we used to get these boats. I don't know if you guys remember the Match Fishing League. They give you a boat, a crew, some petrol, and just say you got this amount of time to catch fish. And we used to fang it,
We did.
And Terry Williams King.
That's
we used
right.
to break all the boats, eh?
Yeah, we did.
We used to break it. We used to go flat out.
Yeah.
And through waves, and I remember Terry breaking his seat, and,
Yep.
and there would be blood all over the boat, and say, "Here, thanks for your boat, mate. Here it is back."
And we were always fishing in areas that most other people weren't, like real shallow water down in the Firth.
That's right.
Soft baiting and that.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal
It's good days, eh?
That was run by the presentator was Peter Elliott.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Who I still talk to this day.
Yeah, he's a good mate.
Yeah. I still see him around, and remember
God,
I
forgot about that.
was in, where was I, up in Warkworth, and he was on some kind of movie set.
Yes.
And he came running over, Paul, and the kids go, "Did you know that famous guy?" I said, yeah.
No, he's a really nice guy, actually. I still keep in contact with him. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
But no, that was a long time ago. It's been a few grey hairs ago.
Yeah, I got a few too, mate.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah. So here's Yuri says hello.
Hello, Yuri.
Matt says hello. And so what's happened since then, mate?
Mate, it's been, like I said, it's almost 25 years in the industry now, and I've loved every second of it. I really have, and I to this day, I still have the same passion I think I had from a young kid sweeping the floors, I think in like Hunt's Sports Store.
Right.
Spooling reels by hand, I remember at Christmas.
Wow.
To work in, 15 years at Shimano, and it was phenomenal, did a lot of stuff there, and I've just always had an absolute love for the industry, and why wouldn't you? Like it's always evolving, and it's always getting better. There's always new product coming about. There's new styles of fishing, and that's I think the part is yourself. You're saying that you love about how it just adapts and it evolves and changes. There's all this new gear coming through, so it just keeps it exciting.
It's always fun, and just for me, it's the size of this fish now that I'm targeting.
Yep.
I don't know if it's an age thing, mate, but it's just, they seem to be getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Like I've gone from, big snapper to little snapper to carwai, and now I'm going to do yellowtail.
Yep.
Who knows, another 5 years I might be targeting whitebait.
You might be, and I'm sure if there is, you'll have the gear for it. Or find the gear for it, if it's available.
Yeah, and here's a nice comment from Alistair Mayer. He asked if we meet in a dodgy bar. No.
I had to think for a second. No. Have we been in some dodgy bars? Possibly, but no.
Yeah. G'day, Al. Thanks for your comment,
How
mate.
are you, Al?
Yeah, and what's your kind of fishing at the moment, mate? Where are you at?
My fishing has gone from, obviously bait fishing traditionally as you were as a kid with your dad and that sort of thing. But I got into lures in a young age because my father was going to Japan every single month importing cars. So he'd always bring back this latest gear, I guess, and it was all stuff I had no idea what it was. It was all lures and little jigs and soft baits and all sorts. So I guess as a young fellow, I started fishing that sort of stuff from an early age. So lures I always adapted to. I got right into the jigs for a long time, and Getsus and Kaburas and Chiku style jigs, and I love that style of fishing. But what I've come back to, and I think is absolutely is now my really favourite style of fishing, and it's also become my wife's favourite style of fishing, and I think that's why I've enjoyed it so much, is getting back into the soft baiting.
Nice.
That's really, it's just something that I did, and then I got into jigging, and but now I've come back to the soft baiting, and it is absolutely my favourite way to fish. It's just so much fun.
I'm the same, mate.
And then just obviously, the soft baits they're all similar, but they have changed a little bit, especially the size of them with coming down to the micro baits. And the thing with the micro baits is we're not targeting small fish with them. We're targeting the same size fish with these small little lures, So that's been a lot of fun as well. Yeah.
And have you found by, switching to these microbaits that you've got more fishing action, like you're getting more hookups? They're not always big fish, but there's always seems to be something happening.
Yep, I noticed that. Like we were up north a couple of weeks ago. I wouldn't say it was tropical conditions, it was tropical cyclone conditions.
All right, I saw you up there with the banner up there getting hammered.
But like you were saying, I was fishing just the little slim swim 2.5s, and every cast, it was either a trevally or a snap, but I was hooking something every time. Yeah. Like it was just like it was non-stop action. And Ivana, she had a slightly bigger bait. She was still getting a lot of fish, but I was literally every single drop. It was just whatever it was down there, everything was hoovering up these little baits, and so it was great fun.
Yeah, well, talking to people who have done it, that's a very similar story to what most other people are telling me.
Yeah.
But what's starting to come through now as well is the people landing big fish on the gear.
Absolutely.
And I've been witnessed when Mark got like an 18-pounder, and we're in like 3 or 4 metres of water, rocks, seaweeds at Rangitoto, and he hooked up, and we're just going, oh, this isn't going to last long.
Oh, no.
So this is like taking, a knife to a gunfight kind of thing, and this isn't going to last long. And we followed it around, and he got it.
Yeah.
It got stuck in the weeds. Once he got it out, and we actually got it. And then I'm hearing stories of other guys, guys doing it off the rocks, which is gnarly terrain. And so I'm starting to think, is this light line that much of a disadvantage when you're fighting big snapper in the gnarly terrain? I'm starting to think, I don't know, but I'm starting to think, how come these guys are landing these fish? And then I say to them, have you had many break-offs doing this? And they're saying no.
No.
So I don't know how that works. So what do you think about that?
I guess my only thought of that is that the gear has evolved. The gear's got better. The fluorocarbons, the braids, everything, the technique of how the stuff's made now is getting better. So even though you're fishing lighter, the gear's stronger. The hooks that are using, yes, they're still small, but the gauges are better size in them, so they're able to hang on a lot better.
Right.
People's knowledge, I think, also of certain knots has got better over the years.
That's a good one.
So I use an FG knot, and you tie a really nice FG knot, even on that really light line, you've got a knot strength that's phenomenal.
Yes.
And then so you're able to optimize everything. Also the rods and the reels as well now. Like all the lighter rods that have come out these days. I mean, it was different when there was only a few options soft bait rods years ago. So if you were trying to fish this light stuff, you'd be pulling hooks all the time, straightening hooks, busting knots. And I think the rods that are able to load a lot nicer with this light gear, reels with smoother drags, better knots, better fluorocarbon, better braids, and better jig heads, and also technique. And I think people's knowledge now, and they've adapted the soft baiting as far as a light tackle style of fishing. So now I think the adaptation from the even lighter stuff was an easier one to do than going from their big bait runners fishing 15 kilo mono to these little 3,000 and 4,000 size reels with 8 to 15 pound braid. So I think people's have evolved, and they've accepted. Like my father's prime example. It took me years to get him over to light gear. Now he's fishing his gear as light as me, and he's catching really good fish, and he loves it. So and that so I think people's adapting to the style of fishing, getting used to the gear, and also they're prepared to spend money now on this light tackle gear, so they're getting good quality stuff. We're back in the day, I think people were a bit reluctant to spend money on the lighter gear because they didn't feel it as a total way of fishing. It was more just like a bit of fun, or we'll have that a try. Now it's a style of fishing.
No, you're right, mate. Yeah, and now you're at Fishing Direct, mate, eh?
I am, This has come full circle. So I mean, this place, I guess I helped Forcius for Andy a little bit back in the day when I think I opened his account. Probably shouldn't have. When it was in his first little store, I think it was basically, you could have classed it as a workshop, maybe. So it probably wouldn't have met the criteria to open an account. But I had vision in what he wanted to do, and he was super passionate. And he did. He grabbed it, the bull by the horns, and he turned it into a phenomenal family-owned store, which is quite a rare thing these days, to be a small independent, family-owned store.
It is.
And it's been great. So I've moved up a bit further north. So for me to travel down to Auckland, I tried to avoid it. So this was the perfect sort of mix. And,
nice.
And it's a great store because it's just got such a good, variety of gear from your lower end to your super high end, and all styles of fishing as well. So it's been well suited.
Probably the first thing I noticed when I walk on here, Justin, is like good stock, very well organised.
Yes.
And very clean, mate.
Yes, I'm a bit of a.
I can tell you're a bit of a.
There's
a bit of a clean freak. Because like looking around there, there's nothing on the floor. No. Everything's like in perfect. Everything's perfect, mate. Which makes a difference when you're walking and fishing. Go, these guys are good, man. They're into it. They work and they keep the shop tidy.
Yeah, and we take our job. I wouldn't say seriously in a bad way, but we take it seriously in the fact that we're really passionate about what we do and the gear. And this is our industry. It's not just a job for us. This is what we do. This is what we live and breathe. And we have done for years. So every aspect, whether it's the vacuuming the floors every day, we take. We have a lot of pride in what we do when it comes to fishing and rigging and the gear we run.
Well, it certainly shines through. So as you mentioned, rigging, if you're going to pick someone who's going to rig your game fishing gear, you want a guy who's pretty tidy and neat and
pretty much,
keep things organised, because the last thing you want is a fish coming off.
No.
Which reminds me of a story. I'm not going to mention any shops or anything where I went marlin fishing and I had a marlin on. and then was leading it to the boat, but the last little pull, and the leader came off the hook. And then when I looked, so the crimp hadn't been, just been put through, and the knot, you know, the burnt at the end, but no crimp. So that was that was to me like, oh man, when I get people to do this, they got to know what they're doing. They got to use some care, because the amount of money it cost me to hook that fish, mate. You know, so all these little tiny details are so important when you got a good fish on.
And that comes even more importantly now with this lighter gear. You know, like it's about making sure everyone's got the right information, you know, and the right techniques and all the gear, and know how to use it as well. And that's what we're really big on. Obviously, not just me, like a lot of the people I know in the industry that are passionate about this. We're all really focused on making sure people have got the best knowledge they can, so that when they do go out, they've got literally all the info, all the gear, so therefore from there it's really down to them to cock it up. And
people coming in the shop, how are you about, you know, sharing some information about where, you know, if a guy comes, where do you think I should go, Justin? Are you going to help out?
I had a great story for that. It was only about a week ago. You know, the owner of Joe's Garage came in, and we'd just been fishing North Channel, Rich and I, and it was terrible conditions. You know, wind. Like I think, look, everyone in New Zealand at the moment, we're used to bad conditions. This year's been bad conditions. But anyway, the fishing was great, and we were soft baiting. We were getting some nice fish. Rich, who works with us, he hooked a monster, had it on for a little bit. Pulled the hook, but it was a nice fish, and we'd caught some others, and so I had a customer come in, and he said, look, you know, I'm going out tomorrow, where do you fish? And I said, look, if it was me, I'd go fish North Channel, you know, Takadu side. I showed him exactly, got the maps out. This is where we were drifting, this is what we were doing. Take from it what you will, but that's where we were 2 days ago, and that's what was going off. So anyway, this is a Friday. I'm standing at the back here, and I see him walk through, and he's got like a smirk, you know, not like a laugh, like a smirk on the face, and he's holding his phone. And I'm like, okay, what have we got here? Anyway, he comes in, he had no gear, so he wasn't buying anything. He just walked straight out the back, and he goes, I just wanted to show you this. And he had a photo of two 20-pound snapper.
Nice.
And I'm like, where'd you get that? And he said, exactly where you told me to go.
Nice.
And so, like, I guess I've never been one for hiding information, because at the end of the day, you can lead a horse to water, so to speak, but you can't make them drink. So the point is that you can tell them where the fish are, but they might not necessarily always catch it. But for me, I'm always about sharing knowledge. I'm about the more people I can get out fishing, enjoying what I love, then to me, it stimulates the whole industry as far as I'm concerned. I don't believe in holding secrets. Like, I mean, look, you don't have to show them every little secret little spot.
Well, you're not going to give away your favourite harp hook or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
But to point people in the right direction.
Absolutely.
For me, that story just told me that's the best part of my job, mate.
Oh, absolutely.
When someone follows your advice and they're successful and they come with that smirk on their face and they come with their phone, you know, that's the best thing. That's the best part of your job, mate.
Well, to me, that's job done. Like that's job done. What I'm here to do.
You've improved that guy's life a little bit because he's gone fishing and he's caught some fish, mate.
Oh, absolutely. He was wrapped. He was wrapped. Like, he just grinned from ear to ear. And so, we're huge on sharing any bit of information we can. And we're always learning as well. You know, if we hear information, we're happy to pass it on, and vice versa, you know, and we feel our customers are like that too. They'll come in and they'll tell us, hey man, I was fishing here, you should go try this, go try that. Because in this industry, and you'd be the same, you never stop learning.
Never, ever.
Never stop learning. And that's why I'm always trying to adapt. And I think that's why I've had so much fun teaching the wife to soft bait. And she's become a phenomenal soft bait fishing woman, person, whatever you want to call. You know, she's had multiple cover shots. She reminds me too. She's had 3 cover shots. She reminds me I've only ever had 2. You know, but I've got really enjoyment out of that, because I've watched someone grow out of a style of fishing and become very good at it from not knowing anything about it to being very proficient at it. And essentially that in a nutshell is our job. Should be to take someone that maybe doesn't know as much or has never done it, and to teach them and then have them progress into becoming proficient.
And for me, I can learn off beginners.
Absolutely.
Like, I remember the story when I was charter fishing, and I went out and I took a dad out and his kid was kind of mucky, or he put fleas on, and the kid was dropping on one, he was just shaking it like that. He was just shaking the rod, just for fun, being silly. And you know what happened, eh? He started smashing the fish.
I know.
So he started smashing the fish. I learned off him. I started doing it and catching fish, and I wrote an article about it in the fishing magazine.
Totally.
So I learned that off a 12-year-old kid, mate. And so that became like a technique.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, because I learned off the wife a little technique. I won't admit that I learned too much off her from fishing, but you know, she was, you know, I was probably just given a little bit too much movement into my soft baits in a certain area we were fishing in, and she looked like she was doing nothing, but she was catching fish after fish. Yeah. So I changed my style up a little bit more to hers, and then bang. Yeah, and it was just, so just little things that you learn. Yeah. Her casting technique still, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to train that one to be any better, but she gets it to where it needs to be. Right. So that's also another thing. You don't necessarily have to do everything perfect the way everyone else does. No. But if you get the same results, then that's great.
And that's how I discovered dragging soft baits as well.
She loves that as well. She learned that
so I was fishing with my partner at the time. I was doing the fancy cast forward, let it flooded, stay in a touch my line. She just let some line out the back and just sat there like that. Yep. And she was catching, I was catching nothing, mate. Yep. She was catching one after the other. Yeah, and I thought, I wonder why that is. And then I was noticing that the snapper there was no bait fish around. Yep. So they must have been grazing. Yep. And so they've got the heads in the sand. Yep. So she was dragging the lure past the nose and catching fish. I was, keeping my soft bait, on the bottom sometimes, but all over the water column. I was catching nothing, mate. Yep. So that's when I discovered, man, dragging actually works.
And I've got another little opinion on that. Personally, that I've found is that dragging technique. I mean, I believe fish are feeding in sort of two different ways. Yeah, lots of ways, but give or take two different ways. Now, one of them, fish don't have some supersonic eyesight and they can't see colour. They can see shades and UVs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But one thing I've found is that if you're swimming around in beautiful conditions in Fiji and the water's clear as day, you can see for miles, right? Right. Okay, fish should be the same. So to me, that's where I tend to use brighter lures in that really, really nice, clear water, because I believe now the fish are actually looking around. Right. They're actually looking for stuff falling. They're looking around. Where I think in that really dirty, murky water, where it's all been worked up and they can't see that well, I believe they start going, well, I'm not going to see stuff miles away, but as you said, they're going to now start digging in for worms and crabs and burrowing around. So that's why I think that dragging technique, it's kicking up that bit of silt for the sort of stuff they are looking for. And that's when I'll go to my new pennies and my duller colours, and that, because I believe that's now what they're hunting for. Yes. That's
a very good way to look at it, Justin.
That atomic sunrise, for instance, at Christmas, we had a day where the water, you couldn't have got clearer. You could see as far down as you could. Yeah. And we were casting the brightest soft bait we had, which was like the atomic sunrise. Yeah. We were casting it miles out, and the fish, the snapper, we were getting hit. We're in 30 metres of water. We were getting hit in about 10 metres of water. Right. 10 metres down under the boat. Yeah. And I remember old man going, a carwa. And I'm like, no, it's a snapper. And anyway, so then, Ivana, she cast, and same thing, about 10 metres down, bang, bang, bang.
I love that.
And we just, and the only thing I put that to is that the fish were just that, their visibility was that good. They were just looking around. They were on the hunt mode, opposed to just heads down in the sand, digging away, So that's how I sort of personally will start to choose my colours. Yeah. This first time of the day,
Right. So that, what Justin just said there, guys, was a piece of gold. So make sure you note what he just said there, because that is very much a good way to select your style of soft baiting and your colours and your jig head weights.
Yeah, especially to start off with.
Two different types of soft baiting, completely different. Yep. So completely different jig heads, even baits, all different, eh?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Yep, no, without a doubt. So.
Yeah, and so what days you working here, mate?
I have Sunday, Mondays off is probably the easy way to say it, which is
Sunday,
great.
Mondays
I get Sunday's family day, so we're either fishing, barbecuing, or family stuff. Yep. And then Mondays usually sort of majority of my fishing days, because everyone's gone back to work, because there's no one on the water. Yeah. Although at the moment my days off seem to be bad weather, so I think goes part and parcel.
I'll be pretty keen to take you out in the Intervision one day, mate.
Yeah, mate, I can't wait.
Casting.
Yeah. No, and the fishing's been great. I think that's
fishing's so good, eh, mate?
Like don't get me wrong. Elephant in the room, the weather this year, it's been terrible. Yeah. Let's just not make no bones about it. But I think what saved it is the fishing has been that good. Fishing has been amazing. Like, I don't think there's, from far north to south, like the fishing's been good. The fish are in great condition. There's been so many bait fish around. Yeah. Like that in a Kowal Bay, Wangapara Bay, where obviously we fish a lot, has been just so full of bait. The fish have been in good nick. There's been a lot of kingies round. Yeah. And just every customer that comes in reports it's just been phenomenal.
Just fish everywhere, right?
Yeah, really good fishing.
You got a bit of a comment here from old Keza.
Keza?
So Keza, what does he say? Bottom of the barrel stuff with this guest.
Yep.
Hey, Gimp.
Yep. No, you'd be right. You'd be right there, Keza. How are you? You know, it's once what they say, kids, you always come back to where you started. So
I can't wait to get up and go to his barbecue shop.
Oh, mate, it's awesome.
Like I've been there once or twice, but it's been closed, and I think he's already sold out and gone home, mate.
I know. Like there's been times
so I have been there, Keza, but I think you must have already sold it all already by the time I get there.
The barbecue hut, and that's just quickly a little plug for Keza, who I worked with for years, and he's done a lot for the fishing industry. His love of barbecuing, you know, he moved up to Mangawhai to get out of the hustle and bustle, and he's started this beautiful little place called the Barbecue Hut. Once again, little family, it's him and Jeannie.
It's cool, eh?
And it's made out of a pure passion and love. And yeah, like you said, he's sold out almost all the time. There's been times I'm like, I might stop on the way back through, and then I'll get a notification, sorry guys, we're sold out for the day. So how good's that?
Well done, Keza.
You know, you've done well, Kez.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll be up soon and grab some barbecue.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start to wind it up. But so a good thing to do at the end is if you're going to go fishing in the next weather window. Around here, around your local kind of area, what kind of style of fishing would you do, and where would you go?
At the moment, from what I fished a couple of weeks ago, North Channel at Kowau, Takadu Point, which was in shallow water, about 15 odd metres.
Yes.
That's where I'd be hunting some bigger boys, probably with some slightly bigger baits. But I would hang on there because there are some good fish there hanging at the moment. There's some good current in that. But also, if I wanted to have a play around, I'd probably switch down to more my micros, you know, little maximum, little quarter ounce, some little, you know, slim swimmers and that, and probably fish that in a Kowau Bay where there's still been a lot of anchovies, a lot of terns working and that, and work that shallower water.
It's great around there,
inside there into the Maharangi Harbour, and then if I was heading sort of down Wongaparoa way, you know, like even out from Wellington Rock and those areas, you know, and really close. I mean, great fishing, guys. Kayak guys have been doing really, really well. So the fishing, you don't have to go far at the moment to get some really, really nice fish. And obviously, because of the wind at the moment, these are areas you're probably going to choose just to try and get out of the wind. You know, choose one peninsula or another. So, but the fishing's been good, and everyone's scaling their gear down, but they're loving their fishing. You know?
So that's what's happening. Not going as far, scaling our gear down, and having just as much fun.
Oh, great! Like, if anything, more fun.
More fun.
So
All right, so there you have it, people. Justin's here. We might do a few more of these. I can see you like the camera, mate.
Oh, pretty used to it after the years.
So we'll have to do a bit more of it, and we'll get Justin out for a fish. So anyone around the area who wants some advice, where to go and catch a fish, what to use,
come on in.
Come and check it out.
Pretty friendly people.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Sweet. Cheers, guys.
See you later, fellas.
Catch ya.